And then, so with that, we're going to be continuing now with our book, Why We Meditate. Let me share it here. And we have it on, I have it on Kindle as well. If you don't have it, something to consider. Very simple but essential practices. And we're going to be talking about chapter 3 today, just for those who didn't know where we were. But I want to review because last week I was sick and so coughing so much I couldn't talk, and also exhausted from travel. Feel much better now. Thank you for all of your care there. And the practice that we began with in the introduction the week before was the dropping practice. Does anybody remember the dropping practice? You raise your hand, put a hand in your on your thing if you remember the dropping practice. Anybody recollect that? And then if you recollect it, yeah. Did anybody try that at any time throughout the week? The dropping practice? And if you did, could you write what the impact of that practice might have been for you? We're going to add it again this week, along with some other practices. Write a few words about the impact of that practice for you. If you have not been able to get to the practice yet, or if you weren't there, we're going to review that practice again today. Grounding, yes, very much so, Denise, right? Yeah, in a very physical, really somatic, felt sensed way. I didn't do it very often. I have to say honestly, because I was already in so much meditation that wasn't seeming necessary for me at that time. This week, I'm going to be doing it a little bit more during walking meditation practice, stopping and dropping in a little bit. So if you're going to be joining us, that might be another place and opportunity for that, stopping, dropping, and embodying present moment. I'm going to read a little bit what's said here on our chat. Yes, connection, centering, grounding, very much so. I struggled with the practice of dropping. It felt unnatural. Well, you're not wrong there. It is, as sometimes all practice is, the nature of practice is that it is not necessarily comfortable. It is not necessarily spontaneous. Sometimes it has to simply be intentioned. And I don't want anyone to disregard a practice when it is new, floundery. I don't get it yet. It's uncomfortable. I can't feel into it. That is, in fact, the nature of practice. And so don't abandon yourself, number one, or the practice, because it will not be yet natural. I wouldn't say meditation by its nature is necessarily a natural practice. It does take effort, energy, commitment. These are the things that are built into what we call the 7 factors of awakening. The continuation in spite of its don't know or didn't get it or don't like it. And so don't abandon ship or yourself in this just yet. Hang in there. Libby, did it daily, especially helpful for ruminating mind. Oh boy, it's for sure true because the body speaks louder, especially with a little bit of the dropping. And this really demanding intention, isn't it? You really have to agree to get into this. This is not subtle. This is like big intention happening right here with the arms raised. And so I think a lot of people didn't like it. I will tell you what some feedback I got is because it's so obvious. You can't hide it. You're walking around with your arms up. People are going, what do you need? What's happening? What do you want? What are you doing? And so if you're doing it out in the world, people will come to your aid, I would say. like, do you need help? So I think it can be a little uncomfortable in that way too. So great for you. Dropping is releasing, letting go, very much so. Mind back just into the direct experience of the body. It was a little wake up reminder. That's also true, Margie. I like that too. Like a big gong versus a little tiny clink of the bell. Becoming empty again. Yes, it does. It kind of, uh, like in Qigong, really releasing all these attachments, all these uh, hooks of mind, and even a release in the body. The very slapping of the lap, I think, inviting often more uh, vital, vibrant experience than sometimes just the breath will do. And so we brought the breath in the dropping practice along with contact and somewhat substantial contact with the body. Just feeling then into the experience of the body, noticing vibrating lap or, emptiness of belly. These things are all useful. And then taking those few extra breaths, as Libby said, it is going to reset um, both not only the mind but the body. Particularly, I think when the body is already overly active, agitated, or even when it is under resourced, a little too tired, a little too lagging, feeling a little dull. I think the dropping practice can, in fact, offer a regulation to that part of the body. So we're going to do our silent sitting now. Then I'm going to be moving into some of the practices that were identified in chapter 3, particularly very practice, both on the in-breath breath. We'll be practicing that. That's the one I really want us most to focus on this week, in addition to the dropping practice. So let's begin our silent sitting. I will ring the bell here. Not sure you guys will get it. But so establishing the body. And today feels very easy. The birds are chirping, garbage truck in reverse. You can hear it in the background, maybe. And then lowering the eyes, coming into the body, inviting mind home. Checking into the body, making sure you're stable. And then see if you can't rest back just a little bit, little moment of ease. And then I'll ring the bell. And so then following our silent sitting practice, we're going to be practicing a particular type of meditative breathing that Zonkni in the book Why We Meditate is recommending. There are both some physiologic benefits to this practice. There are certainly, of course, mental clearing opportunities with this practice. And I would say we're going to practice it for just about 10 minutes, seeing the effects for you. And so then paying particular attention to the impact of the mind, body, and heart with this practice, and recollecting as we read and review chapter 3 today that both the mental factor, the feeling tone or emotion factor, and the body factors are always completely in confluence, and regulating them all is one of the possibilities with this particular meditative breath. And so then I'd like you to just sit up comfortably, maybe a little straighter for this early practice, and you can settle back in a moment. And if you could then imagine the nose and mouth being the mouth of a vase, drawing in, being poured into air, being a nourishment like water poured into the body. And you're going to imagine then from the nose and mouth, the air passageway, the chest, the lungs, the diaphragm, the belly being the body or part of the body, the neck, I think it would be called of a vase. And then the belly and abdomen, and then even below, all the way down into what's sometimes called the hara, the lowest part of the breathscape, just above the pubic bone, being the bulb of the vase. And so we're just going to practice very gently with an in breath, just a gentle, pleasant in breath. We're going to imagine water being poured into this vase. And where does water first hit when you're pouring it into a vase? It hits first in the hara, the lowest point of the vase. So then rather than focus on the mouth and the nose, we're going to imagine with that in breath water being poured beginning right there all the way down into the hara, and then filling us from the hara all the way up beyond the belly, beyond the diaphragm, beyond the chest, all the way up beyond the nose and mouth, even all the way up and out the top of the head. So taking an in breath, we're going to fill from the bottom all the way up. So gathering one's attention, one's intention, and maybe placing that image in the body mind for a moment, breathing naturally for just a moment, shaking off any, I don't think I'm going to get this. It's going to be different or unfamiliar or hard. It's not true. Then with the next in breath, pouring, beginning in the hara, filling the belly, the chest, all the way up the top of the head. And then a relaxed, easy breath. And then resting in that still point for a moment, and then beginning again. Next in breath, holding it for a second or two at the top, and then an easy out breath. You should feel an extending, a filling. The body will feel more expanded. If you're having trouble, you can place a hand below in the hara and then just one above in the area of the belly. Seeing if you can't feel a sense of that filling first. At the top, and then rest at the end. Did I just do that? Or was I muted? Did anyone hear that practice? My mute was on and we're wondering if it was on the whole time.
We couldn't hear you, Diana.
It was on the whole time.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, that will make this a very interesting conversation. Now, what I don't know is whether the recording will then be muted. Okay. But even with my audio off, do you think it'll come through? Uh-huh. Okay. Well, this is just fascinating. I have no idea how that happened.
Very odd. So.
Well, who knows how things go? So now I am obligated to repeat, unfortunately, so, this short practice. I'm going to try to give you an abbreviated version. And Herman and Carrie are here, so I'm going to use them for feedback regarding this since they were both here for part of it. And so let's see if we can't do this for about 10 breaths. Taking your hands then, placing one hand as low as you can at the area of the abdomen near the pubis, the other hand above it, somewhere near the belly then. Softening the gaze. And then imagining the sense of the body as a vase with the opening of the vase up at the at least mouth, nose. I actually use the top of my head or the fontanelle as the opening of the vase, the then body of the vase, and then somewhere beginning in the diaphragm belly, the bulb of the vase, with the bulb bottom being right there in the area of the hara. It's called right there just in front of the pubis. And so then we're just going to practice as we breathe in, imagining water being poured either over the top of the head or in through the mouth, nose, filling the body, but not filling it from top to bottom, actually filling it like water in a vase, filling it beginning in the hara. So imagining the hara filling, then the intestines, the stomach, the diaphragm, the chest, the lungs, the throat, the nose, mouth. And if you continue like I do, all the way up to the top of the head. Hold for a second, see if you can't soften the body there without tensing. And then with the out breath, we're going to practice the balloon breath, which is imagining a full balloon up at the top of the head, and then just untying the knot, letting that breath then travel back down, emptying, releasing all the way back down to the hara, and then filling once again. Purposeful, intentioned in breath. Hold at the top, soften the body. The out breath, then the balloon emptying breath, or the French press breath, imagining the grounds of coffee being pressed slowly from top of the body all the way back into the area of the hara, restoring, reserving energy there, and then resting, softening the body once again, breathing with a little more energy for a moment, filling the hara, the belly, the chest, all the way up, hold, and then balloon or French press out breath. Returning the energy into the area of the hara. The hara always holds a little energy. It's never flaccid. It's never weakened. It's always available. Like the heart, wakened heart mind, it doesn't go to sleep. So it's always active. One of my teachers said about 10% of the energy in the hara is always there, is always there. Let's do a few more together, practicing on your own now. Softening the body, inviting a joyful effort for this practice. It's unfamiliar. Also enjoying the release, the emptying, and the return to the hara to rest. A gentle hold at the top of the breath, the rest at the bottom. The whole of the breath is the meditation object, from the very top to the very bottom and everything in between. We're regulating physical body, emotion, feeling toned body, and mental mind body. Which is why I draw the breath, fill the vase all the way to the very top. Okay, let me check in now and see if we are understanding the idea. Thoughts about this? Can somebody give me some feedback? That was the fastest version ever, but I think we might have the idea. Kathy, thank you for trying. It was not your computer.
It's usually me, so.
We have a magic something happening here. We both ended up on off audio with. I don't try to explain all things. Well, Carrie's pointing to the Madonna behind us, who might have been seeking a little more quiet. Who knows? You get this idea of the practice. In the very few births, and
You're going out,
sense.
Diana. Can.
I'm fading in and cannot hear me. Dennis, I can see you moving now. Can you hear me? All right, can you hear me?
A little
Now hearing steady.
bit.
chat. I'm talking. I feel with this whole body breath practice, beginning at the base of the body.
It's practice, right?
It's a practice.
Well, not striving is going to be an issue.
Non-striving is going to be a number. Very easy.
I could feel you.
It's very difficult not to do. And early in practice, it's invited, like just to get some more gross felt sense, right? For several breaths, even moments, and then begin to get subtler and subtler. And so in this book, in this chapter, Dzongkhani, who's a very expert Rinpoche in the Tibetan tradition, talks about the physical body, the energetic body, the subtle body, and the very subtle body. And in the very subtle, the truth is, it wouldn't necessarily feel different than any other breath. It would just be that felt sense of really drawing up and filling from beneath, which we know in the physiology slows the breaths. Number one, you want to work for a rate beneath 10 breaths a minute. I do about 8, 6 and 8, depending on my level of quality of mind, more than anything about the body. Right, so longevity, just in the physiology, cell rejuvenation is greater, mind is clearer, oxygenation is more substantial, we're feeding cells better, right, than this shortened chest breath, which also is a signal in the science, and I didn't get to say any of this, but I will, is a signal to the brain for distress. Shortened, shallow breath communicates distress to the body, to the mind. And so we want that full, open, relaxed, right? Not holding, releasing, filling, and then we put a little pressure on the release to fully evacuate, getting rid of toxin. Right? We know it does a better job.
It seems like it's a yogic breath. That's what they call it.
Yes, it's very much more so. He uses it as a meditative breath. The Tibetans use it as part of their medicine, very much like the Hindi tradition. It's actually considered medicine breath. I don't think that word got used in there, but I would, like deep medicine with each breath.
I like your example of French press.
Yes.
It was very easy, like, to imagine a French press.
Yes.
Feeling and
yes. Good.
So
Good.
I kind of tempoed it to
your breath. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to stay engaged in your breath. And we're going to need to practice this with this group. This group is not familiar or comfortable with constructed breath work. They don't like it really. The Tibetans frequently use a more natural, effortless, as it is arising and passing breath. So this one is going to be a little bit work for us. So I think later today, if you don't mind, I'm going to instruct it again while recording, And then I'll send it to them, if that would feel okay. It's 8 o'clock now. We're gonna be starting again at 9. This is time, I'm gonna take just a gentle little walk for about 20 minutes. Maybe the walk around would that be longer than 20? The open sesame,
Yeah, it's about a half hour.
it's a little more like a half hour.
Well, it's 10 after 8. You got time.
Diana,
don't
do
wanna
you know
take
we're
break
still
before.
with you?
Which means half hour.
What?
8:40.
Diana, can you hear us?
Hang on. Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to let you guys know we're still with you.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna send another recording of the practice this morning, but we have to go find a better Wi-Fi connection. So
Okay.
we'll send by email, okay?
Okay. Should we sign off now?
Yeah, sign out.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.